So, how's it going, folks? So one of the things I wanted to do is I've memorialized some of the stories about my dad. Any of y'all that have watched any of them know that he passed away in December of 2016. But I was listening to a song and it reminded me of a story about my mother. And my mama, I love my mama. It's funny, if you put the two of us together, we are like two kids or two puppies, just wrestling and tickling each other and just having a good old time, and always have been. Like, some of my first memories as a kid were me and my mama in her room having tickle fights, or having tickle fights on the couch or whatever, and just always goofing off and playing with each other. So here are there's one for sure I'm going to tell you, and I might throw in a bonus one, but here's one of the funnier stories that I can recall right off the top of my head about my mother. So several years ago, I'll skip this backstory. A buddy of mine needed to borrow a truck, which I happen to have, and he's one of like two people outside my family that I would just toss the keys to a vehicle to. And I've done it before when he's been on harder times. So he needs to borrow a truck to do truck stuff. Okay, cool. Here's the keys. But I can't deliver it to you because I don't have a driver and I need a way to get home. He's like, you can drive my car. Cool. Well, this day there was a bunch of other stuff going on. Those of you that might remember, this was the day of the great solar eclipse that came across the Midwest. It was about a 2-hour ride from where I live, was the closest point where there was going to be total eclipse. So it was this day we're going to pick up a rental van to take the whole family down there. I rented a big 15-passenger. My whole family, my mother, my sister, her kids, my sister-in-law, her kids. I think there was 14 out of 15 seats taken. I mean, we were jammed in there pretty good. So anyway, earlier in the day, I had to use my buddy's car to pick up this rental. So I'd met him, dropped off the truck to him so he can do truck stuff later that day. I have his personal vehicle, and I'm going to go pick up a rental car. Fantastic. Everything's going perfect. Now, one of the things I got to tell you about my buddy is he is obsessed with auto sound systems. Every vehicle he's owned, to my knowledge, has either had a factory subwoofer, or the one he's got right now has a factory subwoofer, I know. And all the other ones that he's bought, he's put speakers in the trunk. And they all sounded really good. But this system was the second best sounding system that he'd installed in a car. So I'm driving around, and I had my mom with me because she was going to drive the van back that we rented. Okay, cool. So I'm in my buddy's convertible. My mother's riding with me, and we've got 4,000 watts worth of subwoofers and amps in the trunk of this car. And I'm thinking, man, I wish I had aux cable, or he had put an aftermarket head unit in it with Bluetooth. I'm like, I wish I could pair my phone up to this without jacking it up, and I didn't know the instructions real good on it. So I'm like, I just wish I had something good to listen to, because this would be fun. And so I tap a couple buttons, and he's got a thumb drive with his music library on it. And I'm like, oh goody. Tap, 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 tap. Nappy Roots Po Folks, crank it up. And that song has a pretty decent bass line. It's not dirty rap. I really like the song. My mother's right beside me, and I could have swore she was going to melt through his windshield with the stare on her face. We're sitting there at a red light, top down, beautiful summer day, sunny, 70 75, 80 degrees. It's early in the morning. Just thumping. And she's sitting over there. Just staring straight ahead, not saying a word. And I'm over there rocking out, enjoying the music, feeling it. That was one great story with my mother. It might not be funny to y'all, but it's funny to me because just the look on her face was incredible. I told my buddy about that. He thought it was pretty funny because he knows my mother. Now, bear in mind, my mother was born, we'll just say she's in her 60s right now. And so this was 4 years ago. She would have just turned 60 earlier that year. So, loud rap music isn't exactly her thing. We'll just go out on a limb and say that. And I'm sitting over there just having a blast. Another really good story about my mother is one of the jobs that I had when I first started working for the man is I used to deliver newspapers. Well, I picked that job up when middle of summer-ish. My mother drove a school bus for the county, and she didn't have anything to do. And there was a couple times she'd hear my alarm go off, and she actually came out and rode with me on my paper route. I had I've owned huge trucks. Had a little F-150. And she'd come out and ride the route with me a few times. And I swear, we had more fun there than I think I've ever had with my mother, because she is not a night owl at all. And so we'd go to the dock, pick up the papers, get situated. We had newspaper bags hung from all the grab handles in the cab of this truck. We'd get a stack of papers by her feet, a stack of papers in the center. We'd get a stack of papers anywhere we could, and we'd start doing this paper route. And we would be doing this on 3 or 4 hours sleep, come home, go to sleep, then wake up, do whatever we were doing this day. And we're out there, and at one point she just got so punchy. She starts crying and laughing, going, I just can't fold them papers. I just can't. But I can't fold them papers. I can't. And she was talking about, rolling them up to stick them in the newspaper bag, to throw them out or put them in the newspaper tubes. But we've always been able to have fun like that. Some of the best memories I've got of my mother recently would be when my wife's at work, the kids are at school, my mom is in between her bus runs, and her and I just get to hang out and do whatever. Matter of fact, I'm very seriously contemplating seeing if she wants to go out to lunch on Monday, just the two of us, because kids will be at school, wife will be at work. So, the one thing that losing my father taught me, because 6 months ago, or 6 months prior to his death, no one saw that happen, especially that way. Whenever you get in a car or go do anything, really, there is, on some quantifiable level, a risk that you're gonna die doing it. It might not be high. So, and Dad drove all over doing over-the-road sales for years. And as that scaled back, he still would drive all over the tri-state area. So, and family always lived a little ways away. So, there's always risk that something happens, but he was a very safe driver. He had only been in one major accident that I can recall the entire time that I was alive. But the thing that it really showed me is you never know when a bad diagnosis is going to happen, and so spending time with those that you love and care about is a very important thing. And old sayings and truisms or whatever, they become that way because there's something to them, I think. So you'll never, if I live to be 85 years old and die a wrinkled, old, tired man in my sleep in my own bed at home, I'm never going to lay there thinking, man, I wish I would have worked 2 more weekends a year. It's just not going to happen. I wish I could have taken 1 more vacation with my family, or spent another weekend with my wife and kids, or had more time one-on-one with each of my kids. It's always something like that. Those are the things that you will most likely be thinking about. And I know that was, and I know that because Dad kind of got a 3-month warning that you're going to die. And that was kind of his thing. He wished that he had been a better man more of his life. And he wished that he had been able to spend more time with each of his family members one-on-one, and then again with all of his family together. Those were his regrets. So, just enjoy the moments that you get with your family. Last night, yesterday morning, whatever, I don't know, I work night shift, I never know what it is. I got home from work. My wife was at work. The youngest 3 children had school. The middle school was doing remote learning. My mother was driving the school bus. So I got to sit on the couch and talk to and chill with my teenage daughter. Can't believe I'm saying those words. For 20, 25 minutes before I went and got to bed. We sat there and talked about just all sorts of stuff. She was messing with a magnetic toy and talking about doing remote learning, and she actually enjoys doing the remote learning because it gives her a break from her siblings. I don't know if she's looking forward to going back to full-time in person as much as the rest of the kids were. But we had just a good kind of chit-chat, and we picked on each other a little bit and carried on. It's just good times. So, anyway, that does it for me, folks. I'm off. Catch y'all next time.